All right. Which of the following questions is graph below? This one's pretty easy to do. The only change that it has happened is that it, instead of opening up, it opens down, which means it's a reflection across the x-axis, which means it needs to have a negative a. Very good. So the correct answer was D. Very good, babies. All right. If f of x equals 3x minus 2 and g of x equals 8x minus 4, what is the value of g of x minus g of x? So you first write it out. So you take f of x and you take away 8x minus 4. Because you're taking away, I need to put it in parentheses, correct? Now that parentheses is going to change everything, right? So instead of a positive 8x, it would be a, all right, which means that's a negative 5x. I can eliminate a and d. And then instead of a negative 4, it would be a plus 4, and that would be a 2. So the correct answer was C. Pretty easy to do, right? All right, which of the following represents the graph of the equation? All right, opens up or opens down? All right, so A and D are eliminated. All right, is this H or is this K? That's K. K equals 2, which means it's going to move it up twice. So the correct answer was C. Ready? All right, 5 minutes for the next page. Go. On your own first. Yes, the whole page. As much as you can. As much as you can. one, you needed to multiply f of x times g of x, so you needed to do a box, okay? I put f of x at the top, g of x over here in the corner. It really doesn't matter how you do it. Just make sure that you are creating a box so that you can multiply this. All right, so 4x times 2x equals 8x squared, so you can eliminate a. All right, 4x times 8, 32x, minus 10x. That right there would be 22x. So that can eliminate pretty much everything but b. And I didn't need to finish my box at all because I need a, from here, you get 22x. Okay? All right. Next one. What is the equation of your parent function, y equals x squared, which is a quadratic? Once it has been reflected, which means a equals -1, right? Or at least there's a negative, right? Which means I can eliminate C and A because they don't have those negatives. Very good. All right. And shift it down. If it shifts down, it's going to miss your K. So that would be -1. I'm sorry. So that eliminates B. So the correct, I don't even need to finish. The correct answer would be D. Okay, this is why some of you are able to work a lot faster than others, because you're doing and you're looking, you're doing and you're looking. And when you do and you look, you can eliminate, and 90% of the time you will not have to finish any of these problems. You really won't. Did I finish? No. I didn't even figure out that I had to go three units to the right, which would be a -7 when you put it over here, right?
We just said 3 units to the right.
Oh, I'm sorry. 7 units to the right, not 3. 7. 3 units to the right, but when you put it over here, it will be a -7, right? All right. I guess I should put this on so that it can help, right? All right. Next one. We got a simplified cubic root of 192, a to the 10th, b to the 15th. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do square root of, not square root, cubic root. Cubic root of 192. That equals 5.76. That's how you do it. Wow. All right. For every 3, now I don't have that number in here, which means I'm going to have to do some math over here in my options, okay? But let me go ahead and do the letters. For every 3, 1 comes out. So how many A's come out? There's 10 of them. 3. Thank you. So there should be A3 outside. That would be 9. And then 1 more that stays in, right? So that doesn't help because I have A's on all of them inside, except for none of these. But I'm not ready to eliminate none of these because I don't know if one of these is my answer. All right? Now, for every 3, 1 comes out. So how many B's come out? B to the 5th. That eliminates C. All right? Now, is it 4 and square root of 3? Or is it 3 and square root of 4? So what I'm doing is my calculator's doing this for me. I'm going to say 4, not square root. I keep saying square root. It's cubic root of 3. I do the numbers only because I want to figure out the numbers only. So I write it just like I see it. The 4 is outside the cubic root. And then I see a cubic root and then a 3. I'm not putting letters in there. And if it's the same decimal, voila, ding, ding, ding. If not, it has to be the other one, okay? So is that the same decimal? Yes. So the correct answer is A. Nobody should have got this one wrong, to tell you the truth, because number 7, you're probably going to have it wrong. All right? So you need to bank the ones that are really easy, which would be 4, 5, and 6. None of those have any difficulty whatsoever. All right. Select the reason why 4 to the -5th power is smaller than 4. Well, the first thing that bothers me is that negative. You should know when we did exponents that you should not have negative exponents. So what you need to do is put it over 1. Very good. And that's obviously going to be, and you can just go ahead and solve it. That's obviously going to be smaller than 4. So that's 1 part out of 1024. That's what that means. That's not even, that's closer to 0 than it is to 1. And on the other one, you have 4. All right? So this definitely is smaller. So I'm going to make sure that it is smaller if it's telling me that it is, just to make sure. And then I'm going to come over here and start eliminating. Any positive number with a negative exponent, positive number with a negative exponent is always negative. No, quite the opposite. We need to change it to what? To positive. So that's eliminated. Any positive number with a negative exponent is always equal to 0. Most definitely not. This is not 0. It's close to 0, but it's not 0, so it is not B. Any positive number with a negative exponent always equals the opposite reciprocal to the positive power. If it's opposite to the positive power, that should have been negative, right? And that's not negative. So the correct answer was D. Okay, why reciprocal? Because any number is over 1, and when you change it to positive, the 1 should be up and the 4 to the 5th should be as a denominator. So yes, it's your reciprocal. You flip it. All right? Which one has the largest value? Just do it in the calculator, right? Just do it in the calculator. So 50 to, oop. I know, to the, oop. So 50 to the 3/4 would be 18.8. That was a 3 and then a 2. That was 13.57. Then you do cubic root of 50, which is 3.68. And that's even going to be smaller because it's the 5th root of the same number. So the largest one was A. All right? All right, exponents, you multiplied. So this would be t to the negative 12. You cannot have that negative 12, so you got to put it over 1. So it's 1 over t to the 12. So the correct answer was C. Yay? All right, let's go. Next one. 5 minutes for the next one. Let's go. On your own first. On your own first. And then we can tackle them as a group. Because you're not going to do the test as a group. And it's coming. You don't have much. about it. All right, let's go ahead and start. All right, I would distribute first because when you distribute, you actually get rid of two negatives and then you end up with just one of them. So negative 3 times negative 1, m to the third. 5 times negative 3, m to the negative 15. And negative 2 times negative 3 would be 6, m to the 6th power. Then I would move this one down here, m3, and then m6 and m15 would be 21. And then you take away and you keep where the biggest one is. So it's obviously going to go at the bottom. And 21 minus 3 is 18. All right. I don't think anybody got this one wrong. I only saw one person with one answer wrong, and I'm not sure that they know how to do it, or maybe they were just good guessers. If you cannot explain it, you cannot do it. You don't know how to do it. But in here it says the volume of a cube varies directly. That means that it is proportional. Okay? So the volume is proportional with the side length. And if the length of the sides are double, what happens to the volume of the cube? I can tell you right now that it is not A. Okay? That is only for perimeter. It's not for area, and it's not for volume. Okay? You double it when it's perimeter, because on perimeter all you're doing is adding. But in the area, you are multiplying two sides, two measurements, and on the volume you're doing it by 3 because it's 3D. So what you needed to do was give yourself some numbers. Okay, the first thing that should have come into your head was what's special about a cube? All sides are equal. And how do you calculate the volume of a cube? Very good. So give yourself some numbers. If the length side is 1, what would be the volume? 1 times 1 times 1, which equals 1. Then I double it. The length is now 2. So the volume would be 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. The correct answer was D. It's by a scale factor of 8. If you did not try it out and you just thought, okay, it's double, then it's not correct. Because it will only be double, just doubled, when it's perimeter, because that's only one measurement. When it's area, you actually have to square that factor. And when it's volume, you actually have to cube that factor. This would be 2 to the 3rd power. All right, which is the solution of the equation? All right, if you went to equation solver, you might not have found your answer. I told you that equation solver is really good for linear functions, but it's not good for quadratic or anything that's over 1, over an exponent of 1. So this is what I would have done. I would have done the principle of the root that we learned on quadratic, on completing the squares. For every 4, 1 comes out, so I would have done the 4th root of that because I had 4 of those. So this was x minus 8 equals, and the 4th root of 81, I believe, is 3. But there's one positive and there's one negative, just like completing the squares. I'm going to add 8. So x equals 11, and I believe I can stop. But if you added 8 on the other side, you would have gotten 5. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, you can see. I'm not sure what you got if you did equation solver. Okay, then you were lucky. But you could have gotten 5. Okay? So you need to be careful. When it's anything other than linear, yes, you can go to equation solving when it's a linear function. And a linear function is this. That's a linear function. But if it's quadratic, that has an exponent of 2. If it's cubic or fourth or whatever it is, no, you cannot. I wouldn't. Because you might get your answer or you might not. Okay? Yeah, you can plug and play. I don't like plugging and playing because I'm not sure that you know what you're doing. But yes, that's a good strategy. You can definitely plug it in. I don't, no math teacher would like that. All right. In a parking garage, the first 2 hours cost $3. Because 3, not, yeah, I said 3, right? Each additional hour is 50 cents per hour. Okay, which of the following accurately represents, so you're looking for the true one, the cost of C of parking a car in a garage for 8 hours. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is come up with an equation for that. It's $3 for the first 2 hours, and then each additional hour would be 50 cents. So what would be my equation? Y equals what? 0.5 what? That is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because the first 2 hours, you just double pay them. Because X is the number of hours. So if you kept that car in that parking garage 7 hours, you paid $3 for the first 2, and then you went ahead and paid 50 cents again. That doesn't make any sense. Correct? So let's go ahead and think about what my equation should look like. Remember, X is the number of total hours that you stayed in the parking garage. That your car stayed in the parking garage. So the first 2 are already here. That's where the first 2 are. So what do I need to do to the total number of hours? I can't hear. What did you say? Subtract what? The first 2 hours. Thank you very much. So it's going to be 50 cents So it needs to be the 50 cents that you're paying per hour, but the total number of hours needs to be subtracted by 2 because you have already paid it over there. So there's only one of those options that has the right function. So is it A, B, C, or D? It's C. There you go. All right, which of the following describes the function? What kind of function is it? Very easy to do. It's a what? It's a quadratic, and you know it because it has a exponent of 2. All right, are we good? All right, 5 minutes. We're going to work on this. We're not going to be able to go over it, but at least we can work on it on our own. Go. Yep, it's almost time to leave. We don't feel it in here, do we? All right, awesome. I'm doing my job. Or should I say we are doing our job, right?